Hello, welcome to our channel. I'm Teacher Victoria from Lead From Home, a place for anyone looking to increase their visibility and access to their consumer in the online teaching platform. Here you'll find the resources and tools to help you get the schedule you want. Today's video is all about, well, I won't say all about, we're going to share a little, but today's video is going to feature the cancellation process, a little bit of my two main fears for canceling classes, and three, yes, I like numbers. Okay, I don't like numbers, but numbers help me outline things and remember things in more detail. I hope that's the case for you too. And at any rate, here are three big things to make sure that we decide when we really set our task to cancel a class. Now, we're not going into too much detail about why we cancel, but that will be another video, so stay tuned. I'm going to share a little bit of my journey and why this has become a more of a pronounced issue or challenge. So 2 weeks ago, if you follow me on Instagram, check out my link in my description box. 2 weeks ago, I had an accident, a bicycle accident, and it landed me in some pretty hot water. I definitely needed the time to heal and recover, and per my doctor's orders, I was basically grounded from the virtual world. No reading, no TV, no computer, no cell phone, and even the regular day-to-day tasks, I was basically told to take a time out and really spend that time recovering. But what does that mean for a full-time online teacher, especially in the ESL world or the online VIP platform? And I speak about VIPKids in this case. What does that mean? I definitely had fear about what that would do, or anxiety about what that would do to me and my income and my regulars, and did cancel about almost 60 classes, or roughly around there. It was hard to tell because it was always fluctuating. Now, within that 60 classes that I give or take 2 or 3, that I did cancel or no-showed for. I did have parents, because there were so many cancellations or no-shows, that started canceling themselves independently, which at the time I was really scared and nervous, but on the other side I was a bit relieved because it wasn't on me. I wish I could share my story with them and say, please hang in there, I apologize. But that wasn't the case. I could barely submit my cancellation request or inform VIPKid. So here are my fears, or my two big fears that were just popped in my mind, and for maybe a day or so. And then finally I just said, it's time to heal. No more thinking about this stuff. So one was the loss of the regulars. I lost quite a few regulars. I had just signed my contract again, which and also celebrated my 1-year anniversary with VIPKid, and I'm very appreciative and really value my position here because it's provided me with so many benefits. But that's not why we're here, right? Let's talk about the loss of the regulars. So there are two places to look at your losses when it comes to regulars. One is the student tab. Take a look here. The student tab shows you your regular, or what they deem as interested students. And they have a special indicator. It looks kind of like a magic wand. That's the way I see it. That indicates that they are still following you, and they get notices when you short notice, when you change your schedule or have an opening. They get those notices. Now, if you look at the next box, this is another place that you can see if there's changes in your following, and that is your followers. Now, these in my mind, I envisioned that these are LPs or parents that want to follow you and your schedule. I often think of these as LPs or learning partners because when I first started, I noticed that I was getting those a certain type of booking, and it was the same student, and it was either the parent of the student or the LP that was making those. And I noticed this because of one of my behaviors that I had when I first started, and that was communicating with the LPs or the learning partners on each feedback notice. And I did this early, so as I continued to communicate in these boxes, always relevant information, always short and concise, and specific to the student and their growth as far as the process goes. I noticed that as my communication strengthened, my relationship and rapport with the students strengthened, and my followers, or my little flowers that I just showed, also increased. So just 2 weeks ago, or a little over 2 weeks ago, when I had my accident, I had 112, 114 followers. Now that only went down by 2, and then it went down by, okay, so maybe it was 112. I didn't have too many. I've seen some that have more than that, but 112, and now it's 110. So I worried a little bit because I love my LPs and I want them to share in my growth and in my journey and help me support the students, right? That was a loss. I lost 2, but that doesn't mean that I lost them forever or that I can't gain any back. So I kept that in my mind, and it was a happy spirit. What really crushed me and where I saw it the most was an instant drop on my interested students list. Now, this is something that I couldn't help at the time because I was recovering and I was healing. I was in bed and I was resting and not allowed to check these things. And that was the interested students. So I had close to maybe 80, 90, somewhere around there. It was enough that I always had a full schedule. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't concern myself too much until I saw how much it dropped. So it went from close, 90, 80-ish up there, high 80s, 90s. It is now at 47. That means that almost half of my regular students or interested students that book me consistently have left. They no longer see my schedule when I change it. They no longer send me those advanced booking requests 4 in a row that I always say, yes, yes, yes. So they'll no longer see my schedule when I change it or when I open it up. And that kind of saddened me a little bit because I couldn't share my story. I couldn't share with them that I'm so sorry. I want to be there with you. I want to celebrate. I want to have class. I just had to take it. And that was pretty rough. So now that that's happened, I invite you to follow me on one of my next videos, and that's with how to reestablish or re-engage students that maybe you've lost connection with. So this goes back to rapport building and building your regular base again. So if you're interested in that topic, follow me on my journey. I will show you proven techniques. Subscribe here as I tell you the story about some of my regulars and some of the gifts that they've given along the way. Not physical gifts like treats and things like that, but more moments. All right, so subscribe to that because that's coming. So my second fear was losing my contract. Now, I do suffer from chronic migraine, and this is one of the reasons why the injury to the head was a bit of a challenge, especially with the headaches, the chronic headaches, and determining the severity of the symptoms. You get it. Okay, so I was worried about this loss of contract. With VIPKid, and this will happen with any online or any workplace, if you think about it, if you miss a certain number of days or don't follow the procedures, there are consequences. Your contract will go under review. It's an automatic. It's in our contract that if you miss 6 classes for no-show or for cancellations, they will review your contract. I was lucky. I had many classes under my belt, and this was a unique or definitely an unforeseen extenuating circumstance. I did my best, and let's go into this. I couldn't access my computer. I had trouble seeing because my eyes were so swollen. I did my best by communicating via the support function on the mobile app. I do have a video that's going to walk through supports on the mobile app and with the VIPKid platform. So again, stay tuned. Those videos are due out this week or early next week to help with the process for cancellation if this is new to you. So there are 3 things that you will need to make sure that you get the class finish that you want. When you're canceling, you want to make sure that VIPKid understands that this was not done because of something that you could prevent or what have you. You want it to be a soft cancellation, that's the goal, or a medium cancellation. Medium cancellation, you may get hit with a financial penalty. They might charge you for the class. And I definitely didn't want that, not for 60 classes. Oh, yikes. Okay, so these 3 things will help strengthen your argument that the cancellation was valid. All right, so number 1, you're going to need a doctor's note, a legal document, maybe a police report or something else that discusses the date and time specific that corresponds to the missed class to say why you were unable to teach and communicate with enough time to get your student a substitute, for example. That's on the VIPKid end, but this is how the story unfolds. And number 2. Okay, so the documentation, doctor's note, and I gave you some options for that. Discharge papers are also good. I used discharge papers, but guess what? My name wasn't on them, so I had to post them again. Second thing that you're going to need is to definitely communicate with your online teaching platform as soon as possible. You can do this through the mobile app, which I discussed, or the portal. And I say as soon as possible. Now, I couldn't communicate with VIPKid until 24 hours after my accident, and I felt very remorseful and all of those things. But despite all of those feelings, I had to do what I had to do. And that was heal immediately and then submit whatever I had, whatever little document I had, and then go from there. So the third thing that I will say that you need to do is apply for the soft cancellation or medium cancellation. Now, this is separate than just letting them know that you're going to cancel. I recommend doing a support ticket, and that is informing them that you intend to apply for a soft cancellation. This will help them prepare for the classes that you're going to miss. Always be very specific and provide information with. You don't have to tell them your entire story, but be specific to the classes you missed, date, time, maybe student name, or those that you intend to miss. I know that in some of the communication I received back, they wanted to know a time frame, and that was very specific to my case because I was going to be out for more than one day, and it was a full schedule. Okay, so number 3, like I said, was apply for the soft and medium cancellation. Now, this is done through the classroom on your iPad or your laptop. You're going to click on the class tab, and then you're going to click on classrooms. This is between bookings and feedback. If you follow me, you'll know that we're going to have a walkthrough, and I'll walk you through how to do this. I actually have that video already recorded, edit it and post it so that you have access to that on Monday, maybe even Sunday, if I'm able to get some time on the computer. I'm limited, okay? Sorry, I really am. So you're going to click on that Classrooms tab, and you're going to go to All Classes, and there's an orange kind of bar there that says Cancellations and No-Shows and Change Finish Type. You're going to click on that and then select the classes that you need to change the finish type. Now, there are some qualifications for the finish type or changing the finish type. They have to have a special type notification in order for you to appeal. For example, teacher no-show or student IT, or even a teacher IT. You can ask for that to be reviewed, and this is the process that I just explained to do that. So that is how you're going to specifically do that. Now, here's the warning, really. Warning. It's written in the contract, and it's also written in your support. If you search for cancellations, they do say that if you appeal or you request a review for soft or medium cancellation or a teacher no-show, if you are requesting to change that to a soft cancellation, then you make sure that you have all of your paperwork, like I just discussed, those kind of the doctor's notes, the legal paper, whatever it is that you have to substantiate the reason why you were unable to be present. Have that all together because they only allow you to appeal twice. I will tell you that my first 23 classes were approved. Soft cancellation, perfect. And that was with my discharge papers and a photo of me in the ambulance. Oh my gosh. I didn't take it. I didn't pose for it. I didn't even know it was being taken. My husband took it to send to my mom. Oh gosh. It helped me to tell my story to our contractor. So it provided me those 23 classes right away, and I was able to kind of breathe deeply. But what happened to the rest of them, the 36 or 40 classes that I needed appealed? I applied for them to be soft cancellation, and I thought I would get them, but I didn't. Why? Maybe it was a different reviewer. I did do them in chunks because I was really working to see how I was progressing and healing, to see where I would be. And believe it or not, for 5 days, I was absolutely unable to teach, unable to really do much of anything. One, they denied it. It says soft cancellation failed. So the second time, remember, if this one is not to the best or has all the backup information that I need and it does not pass, then I cannot appeal again. So I really worked at it. I had a doctor's appointment earlier in the week. I was able, actually, it was a virtual appointment, but she said, no, you're coming in. So I explained to her and the circumstances over the phone. She had her written letter, which I considered kind of like an affidavit, that helped outline the prognosis and her recommendations. Of course, she was very general, so that none of the confidential information, the medical information, was expressly detailed, but enough of the information was in there to indicate that yes, I am still healing and I am recovering and on a gradual kind of increase. So with that being said, I waited. I waited until I had that letter along with my discharge papers and other pictures to kind of sequence my progress. That went in to my final appeal. And I did get all of my classes approved. So there is a process. Yes, you do have to do a little bit of homework, but definitely take your time with it. They allow you a certain number of days before they process this. So I wish you much luck if this is what you're having to do. And sometimes, like I said, life just happens and we just have to go with it. So those are the tips I have, the three big things to look for when you're canceling. Just review for right now. You need your documentation. 2, let VIPKid or your online platform know that you're going to be out. Follow those procedures. And then 3, definitely apply for those cancellations in the place that they said. So for us in VIPKid, it's under classrooms, all classrooms, and then change the finish type. Request for the cancellations, and they were approved. I submitted another letter, a specific letter for support to have them review my contract, or where are they in the contract? That's me. I was raising my hand. Come on, I want my schedule opened. I had already missed one of the frenzy weekends because of this, and I didn't want to miss any more, especially as I saw the students go. I knew that I needed to limit my class time and target special peak hours because I could not teach the back-to-backs like I used to, at least not during my recovery time. VIPKid was very accommodating and responded quickly, opened up my schedule once those were validated, and I was able to open up classes. It was very endearing and humbling to get some of those have some of those conversations with the parents that waited till the end of the lessons, that were kind of, you could see them in the background pacing back and forth. And once I said my final goodbye, the student would look and there would be mom coming over to see me on the screen and says, wait. And then asking, when are you going to open up more classes? And if you're under contract, I'll tell you this, they tell you you cannot share with the parents that you are under review. They don't want you to share any of this on your social media platforms. It's a very private kind of process. So when you get parents in front of you, you're already a little, oh, I'm so glad I got to see this student. And then the parent validates your mission, which is supporting them in a journey and being a part of that process. It is extremely humbling, and that is one of the reasons why we do this and why we submit our paperwork and why we honor our contract in the way that we do. Yes, it can be a challenge, but it is also so fruitful, so beneficial, and a gift in itself. That was just one parent that came on and said, he wants no one else, he wants you. When are you going to open up the classes? And I had to cross my fingers and say, in 2 days, just wait 2 days. And sure enough, I was so grateful that when my schedule finally opened, 4 of my regulars that had remained took those bookings, and I'm just overwhelmed. And I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to be a part of your journey. And if you're interested in any of the topics that we discussed earlier that we will be following, just bear with me. I'm limited on my time, for screen time, that is, at least for right now. But know that the videos that will follow, cancellation walkthrough on the VIPKid classroom, that one will be released on Monday. It's already in the editing process. So yay! The second video that we will go through is, what did we say? Oh, yes. Reestablishing your following, your regulars. How do you get them connected? And how do you make sure, how do you plant the seeds that they want to follow you even after you have to cancel and cancel and cancel? Goodbye. Happy teaching.